Maybe you should. No, I've got to get pizzas to that observatory over there. And so you get attacked by some like smoke monster, and you like the pizzas fall off, and you're like scrambling around, like, oh no, somebody needs the pepperoni.
So I'm swimming through 30 weight motor oil.
Why are these new additions to your game that your intention was to release this fall? What are you doing?
Their primary focus should be surviving litigation.
Someone take his phone. I'll do it. Just give me a key card and a red button that turns off Randy's Wi-Fi.
It pisses me off that they lump racing in with sports. Then you look at this insert F-bomb, Mario Kart and Sonic Racing lumped in with F125.
An aimless rant. We were just angry.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
What's up, everybody? We are live. It's episode 71, 72-ish of the Hardcore Casual Broadcast.
71 adjacent.
He is Jay of F1 Podcast fame.
Yes, I
am Mason of Online Infamy, and we are the conversation of the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters behind you. There you go. I knew it was going to be tough to nail, and therefore I did not, but we got it in there. What's up, Jay?
Probably about the same thing that's up with you. So crazy week.
Crazy.
Stupid busy. Was really happy I got to see the state of play, which we're obviously going to talk about tonight. Unfortunately, we're going to get ripped off because we're one day earlier than the Game Fest, or we could have had a mega show. Although I am hungry, so I didn't.
Maybe
really
it'll be a short show
tonight. Oh my God, it's not now. Now we're screwed.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I always go looking for the things that didn't make the state of play. So I got some of that tonight, but hopefully we're opening with state of play.
Oh, absolutely. We are.
And then we got, a couple of shitty Amazon stories that I want to get to later on. And then I've just got one more funny story, and that's pretty much it. But dude, looking forward to the show tonight as always, and can't wait to see if we agree on our takes from the state of play, which I think we're pretty close on those.
Yeah, I think we're fairly aligned.
Yeah, so looking forward to it, man. So glad to be here. Well,
thank you for being here. And yeah, there's probably going to be some. I know some of these things at the state of play, for some reason, have somehow garnered controversy. But
I know one thing that definitely was freaking controversial.
So yeah, we'll get into all that. And yeah, it has been crazy. It's been so crazy the last few weeks. I did want to say, I know that there have been a few subscribers that have dropped off. I appreciate everybody for being patient with us. Jay and I are very busy. I have been incredibly busy, and so I haven't been able to do the editing of the segments and stuff like that. Hopefully we're about to get to a place where I can start doing that again. So stick with us. Jay and I have real jobs. We do not get paid for this yet. And subscribe. Maybe you can change that.
Please.
But hopefully we can get going and getting some of that content released. But yeah, to not bury the lead too much, I guess we'll talk state of play. So yeah, Sony had a state of play. I was so busy that I didn't even know. I was sitting in my room and I was trying to play some 007 to get some more impressions, which we can talk about that later, some more impressions of 007 First Light. And I got a notification that a game that I had on my wish list had gone live for pre-order, and it was Wolverine. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I got a message from you, and you're like, hey, did you catch State of Play? And I was like, oh, that's why it went live for pre-order.
That
because
explains
they announced the release. Yeah, now it makes sense. So, yeah, but I guess we can start there, because I did an autistic deep dive into one aspect of this thing. I haven't watched the trailer yet. I saw a couple of things, and there was just one thing that's been bugging me, and I have been trying to put my finger on it. We'll see where we fall, but we'll be able to react to the trailer. But yeah, so first they opened the entire show with the Wolverine game, and
which I think was a solid move.
And
I really do.
Also a bit of a double bluff for them to think like, hey, we're leading with the big guns to kind of throw you off the scent of the thing that came at the end their one more thing, High
Yeah.
Guard 2. So that wasn't High Guard
Now
2.
with Concord episodic content
Yeah,
attached.
yeah. Uh, but
And a little bit of
before we watch the
battle.
trailer, do you have any thoughts that you want to get out there on Wolverine and what you saw?
So and we may have talked about this before when we've discussed superheroes. I know one night we had a big Wolverine blowout when we heard about this game. And I don't know. So I've always been a team oriented guy, but for some reason, when it comes to superheroes, I like the guys that are on their own. They're out there hacking it on their own. And they occasionally link up with a group and work with it. And granted, Wolverine's always going to be known as an X-Man, even though he was in the Avengers at one point, and X Factor and X Force, and pretty much every X anything that's ever been out there. But I'm a huge Wolverine fan simply because, like, we've both loved time travel. And I mean, he's living, breathing proof of it. He's been around forever, uh, fought in more wars than anybody's ever seen. Uh, I know we're going to be talking about costumes tonight. For me, there's really only one, but uh, he's one of the few characters where I like every era of his character, not necessarily what he's wearing,
Yeah.
but every era of his character. I liked Old Man Logan. I liked Weapon X. I liked his trip to Japan with the Silver Samurai. And I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the comics. Um, Although I did like that movie. But anyway,
Well,
so
also he's one of the characters that's like the closest thing when we might talk about this is a thing that we had talked about offline.
yeah,
Whenever it comes to games with vampires, he's kind of like the
yeah,
closest thing to that. I mean, obviously we have Blade, but he has that sort of like one of the mystique of the vampires, their ability to like see all these different eras, live through all these different
yeah,
eras, collect all of this knowledge from this incredibly long life, and he has that. And in fact, it's one of the things where in the comics, it's never. I mean, they've kind of retconned it a few times, but one of the big mystiques
yes.
of it was always you don't know how old he is. He doesn't even know how old. Like he lost a lot
Pardon
of
the
his memory.
pun.
Yeah,
One of the
So
mistakes.
yeah, so anyways, yeah, I've always been a big fan of his too. He was never my favorite X-Men, but obviously you can't hate Wolverine. You gotta love Wolverine.
Yeah.
He is the X-Men mascot.
I mean, dude, he is the best at what he does.
Yeah, and he would be
And
he
he
would be more than
constantly
happy to tell
lets
you
us know
that.
that.
Yeah. So let's see here. Let me go ahead and bring this in. Add it to the stage here. Are you ready, sir?
I'm always ready.
All right. Let me know if the volume is not right.
Partial nudity. I'm in.
Oh, can you hear it?
No, I cannot hear anything yet.
I can't hear it either. That is not ideal.
It is not.
Hold on. Speaking of
Although it looks
vampires,
like
vamp for me a little bit, Jay. While
Well,
I
so the screenshot you just had up made it look like he was actually in Asia for that. So one thing I don't think they really covered in the trailer that we did get, it's obviously he's going to be doing some world hopping. And I'm, kind of looking forward to seeing where he goes. And I hope they don't do all the cliche trips where he goes to Raiden Lake in Canada and it's a whole striker bit. And I hope that's just off the table. I hope this is a wholly original story, even if some of the characters aren't. I was also absolutely fascinated by some of the character reveals that we got that aren't Wolverine.
True.
Although I don't want to vamp on those too much because I know you want to talk about them as well. Because there was one in particular, and it's already caught the internet by storm. And pardon my pun, caught the
Aha!
internet by storm. And
I
not,
see what
things
you
aren't
did there.
always. Some things are not always black and white. Sometimes you have to live in the Jean Grey. And
Man, now you can't stop yourself.
yeah, no, I can't even. Man, anyway, definitely looking forward to seeing where they go plot wise. And okay, now I've got an echo, but I'm okay with it. We can go.
Oh no, I don't want you to have an echo. All right, man. Well, maybe we just don't worry about that right now. We can do it without the audio. All right, let's see here. Sorry, guys. We are
We're having technical difficulties there.
We are having technical difficulties tonight. Sorry about that. All right. Well, we will roll with it with no audio, and so you get to hear the dulcet tones of our voices.
Well, that's
As
good
we,
because then we can talk through it, which everybody always loves.
yeah. If you want to watch it without audio commentary, it's easy to find. But okay, so I mean,
That
obviously, it
looked
looks
like a
incredible.
sentinel right
Yeah.
there, which I thought was cool.
Oh, and see, I've got all the audio over here. Okay. Oop. All right. So this is the first thing. So
He's
the
hairy.
body hair. So this was what they actually spoke about with somebody, where it's like, in the comic books, obviously he was hairy in the comic books, he's hairy in the cartoon, but that's like scribbles on a page. It's implied.
Yeah.
This we have like 50 artists that worked for months to like craft these coarse body hairs, and it's slightly off-putting
So
actually.
you should be off putting. Anyway, I was actually going to agree with you on this one too. And normally I'd be like, well, it's comics accurate, but I just don't think it works for a video game, dude. Because now I'm going to be focused on, like, bro, do some
It's
manscaping or something.
I
Come
mean,
on.
and I'm sure there's like physics and everything. I'm sure they'll blow in the wind, and it seems like a lot of
Yeah,
unnecessary work. Like they could have just done away with it. Also, this is the thing that gets me, and I'm sure they can tweak this a little bit. But we just
yeah,
saw him slaughter and bathe in blood like 30 yards back, and then he was
yeah.
completely clean. And I mean, he's getting covered again. Okay, he's covered, and
He'll be
then
clean again in a minute.
he'll
I
be
remember
clean
this
again
part.
in like 10
There it
paces.
goes.
Like it's unreal. Like
So,
maybe they'll have a slider that we can adjust.
did you play the Wolverine Origins Wolverine game?
Yes, which was the
Even in
movie
that,
sucked, but that
yes,
would
the
like
game
you could
was,
yeah, the game, and you would see
it
his
was unhinged.
bones.
Yes. And even on that one, I thought it was quick, but it was slower than this on the blood and the healing.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
So
Like, and like maybe it's just for the demonstration. Maybe there's a thing where it's like, hey, if the blood hangs out too long while we're showing it, maybe that would like
yeah,
get age restricted or something like that. So I'm hoping that it's just a thing for this, and that the blood will stick around for longer than that. But
I want to
obviously,
highlight
they are
some.
pulling no punches here as far as the
I want to
violence goes.
highlight some plot points. These are obviously cargo containers that are owned by Trask,
There's Jean
which,
Grey.
de- yeah, Jean Grey. There, it definitely brings up. Hate to say it because it's. I mean, it's Boulevard Trask, but that was a Days of Future Past storyline, and I realized Trask existed outside that storyline, but it makes me wonder, like, what kind of era we're looking at here, or how much, if it's before or after, and whatnot. So we're kind of in that middle ground.
Yeah, and so this is one thing I know that you had mentioned that people were some people were very upset about Jean's attire and that her
Yeah,
look was different. But I like the look.
I do
I don't know.
too.
Put anybody in a trench coat, they're always going to look cooler. So I think she looks really cool in a trench coat. I'm up for it.
Yeah, she kind of gives off that Trinity vibe in a way, which I kind of dig.
Yeah, and
Um,
so we
you
are
want to go
seeing
ahead and
all
talk
kinds of.
about this Wolverine costume, because I know you have some issues with it.
So we will talk about it after this is done.
Oh,
I
okay,
definitely have some points there, because
because
so basically I'll say this, guys. There's something about this costume, and I haven't been able to, I think I did finally figure it out. But I hadn't been able to put my finger on it. But there's something about this costume that bugs me, which is crazy to me, because obviously it's not going to be identical to the cartoons or anything like that. Anytime you're going to try to bring something from the page, or a cartoon, and you're going to try to put it on the big screen in a film, or you're going to put it in a video game, you can't just have flat spandex. You've got to have some
yeah,
texture and materials, and I think they did a great job with it. It's got the stripes. They've managed to
I
like do
like
different
it.
different things with it. So they did a great job with adapting the costume that we all know from like the X-Men cartoons and comics. But for some reason, it bugs me, and particularly the mask. And so that's what I want to look at a little bit more in depth once we're done with this. But so one thing also while we're looking at this, the combat of course looks fun, and in the Spider-Man games, one of the big things about Spider-Man is like the hand-to-hand combat was always really great. It had kind of like the Batman
Yeah.
Arkham Asylum sort of combat. So even on Spider-Man, you had this very flowy combat, but this is and we've got it here too, clearly, which is great.
Yeah.
There's just sometimes that the way that he moves feels a little bit magnetic, where he's just like being pulled to somebody as opposed to him jumping towards somebody. Um,
Okay.
I don't know. It just feels like a little bit too connected. I mean, it's not going to be a big deal. I'm not like lambasting the game over this. Obviously, it's Insomniac. I have no doubt this game's going to be incredible. I'm going to play it. But there's just things where I'm like watching it, and it might feel different whenever you're playing it. But just watching it, and there we go. We can see his ribs, which is great.
Looks like we got some QTE events, which I'm never a big fan of.
And so again, this is the first time actually watching the full trailer. So
Oh,
we
okay.
saw his ribs, and as his ribs, like everything healed up, so did his suit.
Yeah.
I wish we could not do that. Like if the suit got a hole
Also,
in it, it needs to stick that
that
way.
looked like an original villain type that we got to see right there. I don't recall any character looking like that. So
Yeah, some cyborg like character. It looks like something out of Bloodshot.
here's the Indiana Jones move.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun.
except for this part.
Boom. But yeah, so far, I mean, looks awesome. Like the claws, the brutality. I'm so glad. Like everybody was nervous that it was going to be T for teen. Now here's the thing. So now we've got the hole in the back. We've got the slashes across the chest. So I don't know why we couldn't have left that big hole in the side. I don't know why. I'm assuming that's because it's not dynamic. I'm assuming each suit probably has various stages of distress, and uh it just transfers between those stages instead of specific spots where you got hit. I like Omega Red
Sabretooth.
there, which I love to
Yeah,
see.
Mystique, Sentinels.
All right,
That
this
is
one.
fucking Deadpool, dude.
Yeah,
I know they're gonna say it's not, and the person looks like they might be Asian American or at least Pacific Islander. But I'm telling you, I mean, come on,
So yeah,
man.
this is so some people are saying, well, this is clearly not Deadpool. It doesn't look like Deadpool's outfit. My stance here, as Jay and I have talked offline about, this is a dude in a red suit with two swords. Like these people are too smart. They know, like it's not like they're unaware of Deadpool. There's
I
no
mean,
chance.
the closest other thing inside of Marvel that it could be is an operative of the hand. That's the only other thing it could
Yeah,
be.
and you can see on his shoulder here, you can see there's some sort of insignia.
Yeah,
But
which
again,
very well may be the hand.
but I but still I can't fathom that they would have a dude that's in a full black and white suit with two swords and have it. Now, granted, I don't believe that this is Deadpool. Like, I don't believe that this is
Yeah,
the final version of Deadpool, but I would say this is Wade Wilson. I mean, I could be very wrong about this. Like you said, it
yeah,
looks
we
like this
both
guy's
could be. Yeah,
probably Asian. So very well could be somebody in the hand, but I just think, man, they know what they're doing. And this dude in red and black with swords, like you got to know what you're doing. I don't know.
well, at
And I
least
think
they
that,
didn't play "Like a Prayer" by Madonna. Then it would have been really bad.
well, we don't know that. We're getting a trailer. Who knows what they're doing in the game itself?
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. All right, there. Okay, and we saw. Let me see if I can back it up ever so slightly.
Oh, you're
Uh,
too.
yep.
Oh,
Let's see if I can catch it here as we get to it again. There's a final blow there. So again, it
yeah,
just makes me
the
think.
leather. Yeah,
I mean, it looks like Deadpool, like the start of Deadpool. We'll see. But yeah, and here we got Sabretooth looking
dude, Sabretooth
absolutely
looks
awesome.
fantastic. Probably the best version of him we've ever seen.
Now, yeah, that looks cool. I assume this is probably modeled after, like directly after an actor as well, just like Wolverine is.
Yeah, who's playing him?
I do not know. I do not
It's gonna
know.
be tough after Leave because I loved Leave playing him.
Oh, and there's the or sorry, the brown suit.
Yes, the only suit. Yes.
Yeah. But all right. So there we go. That is the Wolverine trailer from State of Play. So, I I didn't I couldn't put my finger on why I hated this. Uh so the other thing that I wanted to look at was so I took the image I took images. I actually went online and I looked at comic book images and I put them side by side with images of this Wolverine. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? And so let me bring this guy up. So here we go. This is Wolverine. This is comic Wolverine, right? So we got this. Everybody recognizes this as Wolverine. This is one artist rendering. Here we have a different version of Wolverine. Here we have several different Wolverines side by side, probably same artist though. But you can see that there's all these different iterations of Wolverine, but they are all, and even though each of them has their own flavor, they're
Yeah.
all easily identifiable as Wolverine. It looks like Wolverine, even with these different variations to his face and things like that. And then there's this, and I don't like it. And I even sought outside help and I sent images and I'm like, why don't I like this? And there's probably no way to say this in a way that won't sound offensive. But, and I know that this is modeled after Liam McIntyre, the guy that is doing the voice, whatever. So I know that there's no way to say this in a way that's like, oh, no offense, but I think I just hate this guy's fucking face. Like there's something about it. So as I look at between this and this, I think there's two things that could be. One, maybe it's just this guy's face. So this is the guy. This is Liam McIntyre, handsome man.
That's yeah.
I don't think he looks like Wolverine though, and his chin is very pointy. He's got a very pointy chin. It's not squared off, right? I think that might be one of the things that's throwing me off. Perhaps the dimples. I don't know. But I look at this and it just bugs me. And I think it might be his face. The only other thing that I can think of outside of his face, and I could understand them because maybe they would be trying to mimic something like this that's going on here on the sides of his cheeks. But the only other thing I can think of is if you look here, there's space, which I mean, this would happen. This would happen if this was real life. You got the helmet, and there's like this space between his cheeks and the actual lining of that mask. Maybe it's that. I don't know. But ultimately, I think I just hate this guy's face as, as Wolverine. So I don't know. Thoughts, Jay?
I got no. Okay. First off, I need to separate myself far from that comment. I don't hate the guy's face. I mean, I don't love it,
For
but I don't have
Wolverine.
any.
For Wolverine. It's a perfectly acceptable face.
I have no opinion
Look at who's
whatsoever
talking.
on the guy's
Who
face.
am I to talk about people's faces, right? But I just, for Wolverine, I don't know.
But the guy played the Weather Wizard in Flash. He played Spartacus. I thought he did very well when he wants to get angry and get rid of the dimples, as you put it. He absolutely can. Um, there's one point I will concede with you. His face is not comic book long, so his face doesn't fully embody the mask, which I think you're because that first picture, the one you just showed, and that one, either one, his face, it's a long face. It's a Batman Gotham face, right? And the other thing, like with me and the cow, is I like the wider earpieces on the mask because I think when they try to shore him up too close to the main part, it makes him look like Batman, and I don't. He's not Batman, so I didn't have a problem with this costume at all until you mentioned the gaps between the rubber part and the face, and now I have a problem with that part. Now
Where
I'm
it's
pissed
like,
off because now I have a problem I didn't have.
so either it's this guy's face or it's this little thing, because the conversation I was having with this person is like, it's one of those uncanny valley things where we are just so, as people, trained to recognize faces. And that's the whole thing where it's like whenever you see something that's AI, unless you're your parents. You can we can see something that's AI and be like, that's something's not right there. There's something off.
Yeah.
Something's not jiving. And so it's much like this. We've grown up with Wolverine. We know how this thing works. Even though we've seen the brown suit, the X-Men suit, the X-Factor suit, no suit at all. We've seen all these different versions, and they all look like Wolverine to us, right? We've like bigger flares, tighter to the thing. No, we've seen it all, and we recognize them all as Wolverine. And yeah, if it's not this guy's face, it's that little gap. And what makes that little gap even more infuriating is that it doesn't need to be there. If you made a movie, obviously that is probably going to have to be something you're going to contend with. That trying to fit the, but
Or just
you don't have to worry about
pull
it
the
here.
mask up to just under the chin where it would tighten that piece down, like they did with the Flash, for
Yeah,
instance.
but you don't need that here. It's not
No.
you don't have to obey those physics. The
And
only
with those
other
lamb chops, he doesn't even need that part at all. They could just take that part off
yeah,
the mask.
fill it in with hair. Just
Yeah.
so yeah, it's one of those two things. The other thing, and I get that it's this way in the comics as well. It shows because if we look here on this page here, you can see like it's white eyes, but as he changes his expression, like Deadpool or something, it changes the shape of those eyes. But
Yeah.
here we've got that. But in theory, if you're trying to do this more grounded approach to Wolverine, that's not how it would work. Like he's clearly got eye black on behind his mask, so he's got the Batman eye black, and
The
then
most
these
unwritten rule in superhero costumes, the eye black.
yeah, but then so like you would think that these would be like Spider-Man eyes, right? Where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
the white eyes would be a part of the mask, but they're not because they're behind his eyelids. So these are like
Yeah.
contacts or something. So I don't know if they're gonna like try to incorporate that where they're like, oh, they're smart lenses, you can see whatever. But ultimately, I know it sounds like I'm nitpicking a lot here. I'm gonna play this game. It's Insomniac. I don't I'm not like I'm excited about this game. These are just little
Yeah.
details that bugged me a bit.
For the record, we're not going to see his face hardly ever, except in cutscenes.
Well, actually, yeah, we do his full face will be there. Now
Yeah.
how many times we'll get to see man, that is taking up the whole screen. How many times we get to see this full face, I don't know. I'm sure there'll be
Yeah.
some missions where we do that. But ultimately though, looking at the trailer, it looks really good. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from Insomniac. The combat is brutal and bloody and incredibly violent, and I'm very glad that they went that way. Uh, I don't know if we know like the whole story. Like, is Trask are they just showing us like the first level, and it's like, oh, he's just thwarting something, and then that's it, and we don't know who the real big bad is or what? Because I have
Right.
to assume that um yeah, I got to assume that Sabretooth and Magneto are going to be involved. I don't know, but I'm stoked though. Ultimately, I'm stoked. Body hair aside, cheek gap aside, I'm stoked for the game.
Yeah. Same, man. I mean, I love the Insomniac games, period. And flipping over to the DC side of the house because of the way that the combat mechanics work. Obviously, I love the Arkham games; those were fantastic. Specifically, that last one. Arkham was it Arkham Knight, the third one?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. So, yeah, and I think it's gonna give people a chance to live out the fever dream that they've had forever, ever since you've been introduced to Wolverine. Although, if you can get your hands on it, go back and play the one from Origins. It's very good, or get an emulator and find it. It is very good, and it's very well done, and it holds up.
And it is
So,
very, very gory.
yes, super, super nasty gore.
Yeah, I mean,
But anyway,
you could see you see organs,
yeah.
within him, and he would heal it back. So it was very good. But yeah, so what's the next one that you want to move on to from the state of play?
Well, I think we should do what they did and save that one till last. But I wanted to bring up a game, and we have no footage of this for a reason. There's a game coming out, and I am not. Everybody that has watched this show knows I am not a horror movie fan. I'm also not a horror game fan, except for certain franchises, which for me felt like more suspense thrillers than horror. But like Resident Evil. I love the first 4 Resident Evils. But there's a game coming out called Ill. I cannot tell you the plot. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but they had a trailer that could best be described as a gratuitous gore snuff film, basically.
Yeah,
And
no, I did
it
not see
was.
this trailer.
Oh, you still haven't seen it?
I still have not seen it.
This thing, folks, if you remember the Game Awards and we got to see Divinity and how dark and crazy that was, and I do not have a weak
We got to
stomach
see
for
people literally burned inside.
Yes.
We got to
Well,
see inside as they burned.
this
in
is
these
worse.
effigies.
This is worse. And I literally thought maybe they crossed the line. What I'm more worried about is that this trailer was right in the middle of a bunch of trailers where, some middle school and high school kids are going to get into those games and then see that game and be like, yeah, I love all horror movies, so let's play that. And I just don't think anybody, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm all for artistic freedom and representation, and I'm sure there's a crowd for this, and that's fine, but it will not be me. Although I will say this, graphically speaking, it looks fantastic. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously took full advantage of Unreal 5, but it looks good, man.
Which now they're already getting into Unreal 6.
Yeah. Which I wish they would just come up with something else. Maybe use Pearl Abyss's engine. But then, of course, man, we had, I know this is one we're both excited about, which is Onimusha.
Yes.
I don't know should I call it a reboot or a remake?
I
or
think
what
it's
are we
I
calling it?
would consider it a reboot because it's kind of like they're not necessarily. I don't think that they are ignoring the lineage, but they're making it so that you don't have to have played it to
Yeah.
enjoy this. The protagonist is different, so I say it's kind of like God of War, where hey, the stuff that happened did happen. So this new Norse
Yeah.
thing, it's in continuity, but for all intents and purposes, it's a reboot. Because the last the last game is 20 years ago.
Yeah, and I got to say, the very first game, Onimusha, kind of took everybody by storm. I remember I picked it up on my lunch hour at work, and I was working like a 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. shift. So I get off at 2 a.m., and I wasn't going to throw it in, but I did. And I ended up being up the whole rest of the night into the next day. It was so addicting. And again, this is like we always say, when you remember back, it looked like games do today.
Yeah.
And it obviously did not. In fact, you can pick it up on the PlayStation Store right now, and it's supposed to be a remastered version, and I don't think it still looks very good. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they insist on doing these remasters where they just like upscale the same textures.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't get the because it just looks like you said, it just looks not good.
Yeah,
In
and
4K.
I feel like modders do a better job of fixing old games than
for
the
sure.
actual companies do.
Because they'll replace textures.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they absolutely will. And your game install size will get infinitely larger than it was. But yeah, definitely looking forward to Onimusha. Another one that I'm looking forward to.
And there's a demo that you can play a demo out.
Oh, that's right.
Right now, which I haven't gotten a chance to play it.
I haven't either.
But I'm going to try to this weekend. But yeah, I want to play. So they have a demo for Onimusha, which is something that happens so little these days, man. We get few demos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. My son played it and he said it was good. So I'm going to try it out this weekend probably. Simply for the nostalgia of it. But another game franchise that we have not seen for 20 years, which is Stuntman, is coming out with a new game, Stuntman Hollywood, and it's being made by Saber Interactive, who made SnowRunner, who made Space Marine 2, who makes a lot of things, including the upcoming. What's the upcoming one that? Oh, we talked about it, and they hadn't made this type of game before or something. You were asking me what's their pedigree for making it.
For Owlcat?
No, it was for Saber.
Oh.
Saber Interactive. It might have been Exodus or one of those.
No,
but anyways, Saber Interactive is a fantastic developer with a lot of great games out there. And they're making Stuntman Hollywood. And the trailer we got in the State of Play, which highlighted Sonny Crockett's white Ferrari from Miami Vice, and the DeLorean from Back to the Future, and Kit from Knight Rider, and the Toyota
This-
Supra from Fast and Furious,
Yeah.
and Death Race for all of us cult following people that love the Death Race movies. Because we had Jason Statham in there at the beginning of those. And
John Wick. That was the game.
Oh, yeah.
That-
Saber
John Wick.
Interactive is making John Wick. So, yeah, really good company. I think they know what they're doing in so many areas. And so, definitely looking forward to Stuntman. And then before we get to the big one that everybody wants to get to, there was a game, and it's a second in the series, and I didn't play the first one. We talked about it last night, Until Dawn. And I never even knew the premise of the first game. I didn't know it was more of a which way book / choose your own adventure. But I'm watching this trailer, and I ended up laughing at one part because this girl's running towards a cliff and her boyfriend's standing at the edge of the cliff, and her choice was jump by yourself or push Luke so that he'll jump. And she pushes Luke, and Luke smashes into a rock. And I'm like, well, that's obviously not the choice we want to make.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll change that part, because that seemed like a very crucial moment in the story. But it made me want to try Until Dawn, the first one, just to see what it's all about, because that trailer was very well done and it was very good. And it's also got the guy from Baldur's Gate 3 that played Astarion.
Newborn.
Newborn.
Jeez, gosh. Neil
Yeah.
Newborn.
Neil Newborn, who is playing some like weird uncle character dude in the
he looked like he was a bit creepy. It looked like there was a part where
Yeah.
he like had a dude in a headlock, and
Well, it felt like, I don't know if you remember, like one of the I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, or one of those movies. It's like the dude, you get to the resort and he's already there, and he's the only one there.
and he's
It's
in
like,
a Speedo.
hey, man, how are you? Oh, man, great. Have you signed in? I don't know if we want to now. So,
Yeah, well, it's gonna be it's an interesting thing. So first of all, Until Dawn 2 is not made by the same people that made Until Dawn 1.
okay.
So we'll see what happens there. But really, so the Until Dawn game, it was like you'd said, like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. So it's kind of like Quantic Dream, except not as not as long, not as in depth. They have like it's intended to be a shorter gameplay experience, whereas like Quantic Dream, they're long games for
Right.
for what they are, and the whole thing is for you to make these choices and kind of live with them until that, and then kind of go back and replay the whole thing again if you want to. Whereas Until Dawn, it's kind of structured in a way where you can do something, and then if you really want to just like go back, you can just go back and do it. So it's a tighter time frame, and in something like a Quantic Dream game, the there's tons of important decisions, but they're spaced out a little bit more, where it feels like every third decision you make and Until Dawn can get somebody killed. So it's like you can have it where everybody dies, you can have everybody live, you can have any
I saw that at the end of the
combination-
trailer when they said that. Yeah, that was weird.
You can have any combination between those two realities happen. So yeah, and like, okay, they can leave that thing in there with the guy dying, because I guarantee you there's going to be like 15 other ways that dude can bite it in the game, at least.
Nice.
So yeah, it's like it's a much more condensed and failable version of the Quantic Dream game, and obviously it's a little bit campy, but yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. Until Dawn was a surprise hit that whenever it came out had Hayden Panettiere and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and before she went crazy, and now we've got this. I'm excited to see what they do with it. It looked really cool. It looked really cool.
It did, man. Well, man, that's all I had, except for the showstopper.
Well, I see down here at the bottom. Oh, is that not Ace Combat?
No, that was
Oh.
no, that's just other June 26th releases.
Okay. Well,
Not
then before we get to the other thing, if you're into Ace Combat, which I know Jay is, and my brother, big fans of
Yeah.
Ace Combat 8 is it?
Yes.
Ace Combat 8 is coming out. So that should be interesting for those
The
that
Wings
are
of
fans.
Thieve
Yeah, which
or
is always
whatever.
because I know their thing is like where it's like they have real aircraft on a fake Earth, right? That's like the whole thing. Like it's
Yes.
not our Earth, it's not our superpowers
And
in the political sense.
I swear to God, they get Kojima to write the plot to this. He like ghost writes them because they always have it's just like Death Stranding and Metal Gear. You always gotta they'll tell you this plot and why you're flying, and you're just sitting there going,
All right.
okay, all right, let's sortie, bitch. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, let's just get some smoke in the air.
Yeah, you get up there in the sky and it's like, just point me towards the bed. Those are the guys I'm killing, right? Yep. Here's the reason why. I don't need to know what the reason is. It's going to be crazy anyway. Let me just go ahead and do it.
Kind of like the story in Monster Hunter. Whenever we were like, "Oh man, the new
Yes.
Monster Hunter game! Like they worked on the story. Let's do it." And then like it was like 3 cutscenes. I'm like, skip, 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 skip. I do not care. I
Yeah.
thought I wanted the story until you gave me the story, and yep, don't care. Okay, so yeah, the big one, the one that has somehow created controversy. What was that, Jay?
That would have
There one
been,
more thing.
and I'm going to get this title wrong, but I'm just going to say it, God of War, which is the first problem, Laufey. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
A female protagonist played by Deborah Ann Woll, who you will know as Karen Page on the Daredevil series, and she's excellent. She's
And she
also a
was Faye in
celebrity.
the God of War reboot. Like in the
Yeah.
flashbacks and all that stuff, she was Faye, and she's playing that same character.
She's also a celebrity dungeon master for celebrity D&D groups. And she is playing the lead role as she as basically refilling the boots that she filled before. Um, I need to make a disclaimer. I've only played 1 hour of the newer God of War game, and none of that, was it called Ragnarok?
Yes.
I have not played that at all.
They're so good.
I did play God of War 1, 2, and 3, Chains of Olympus, Ghosts of Sparta. So those 5 I have played in their entirety.
Well,
But I wasn't a big fan of at first of them leaving the and I love Norse mythology. Do not get me wrong there. But I wasn't a big fan of a Greek leaving Greek mythology to go be a Norse guy for a while.
everybody's already dead. Who's left to kill, man? Like,
You got to bring them back, man. Those guys never die. But yeah, they're like Marvel heroes. They just keep coming back. But so apparently, though, with the plot of this one, I'm totally fine having only played an hour of the first game because in that
pick up
hour,
right where you left off.
I saw the burial of the character I'm going to be in this one. So it looks like I can just go right into my story continuing. And then we had a great gameplay piece. I was going to ask you what you thought of it before I get into my points on the gameplay.
Yeah, so first of all, like you said, it opens with her on like a wooden plank surrounded by butterflies and
Yeah.
waking up and calling for her family, Kratos and Atreus and all that. So she is and that's the whole thing is that that part of God of War, they burned her body. You know, they thought she was
Yeah.
dead, they burned her body, and we never found out what the deal was in that whole thing. Like we knew that was the part of the reason that that it had happened and whatever, but we never knew the full weight of what had happened. It was never revealed. So here, clearly there's some sort of magic afoot because her spirit is still very much alive, and it sounds like from what we've seen that her objective in this new game is to fight her way back to get to her family, which would be interesting and would be great.
Impossible. Oh, sorry. I
Well,
thought you were going to say impossible.
Nothing's impossible in mythology. And the gameplay though looked great. I mean, there was so many like really cool combos and sword play. Obviously, she's a lot more nimble than Kratos. Kratos is obviously a brute, very powerful, like sheer brute force kind of moves, whereas she's a lot more acrobatic, light on her feet, spinny, twirly, flippy shit. And it looked really, really cool.
I did like how, even though it was ultra convenient, I did like how organic it made it look that she got her armor, where she had the other, like the dead skeletons that were there. Although it looked like she got like an end game sword pretty much at the very beginning of the game. So I don't know how I feel about that, but her magic looked good. I loved how she had like the golden like ribbons, like they felt like they were basically imbued into her arm. And we'll talk about ribbons here in a minute. But um, yeah, it felt like she was in some type of hodgepodge afterlife where there was multiple anthologies represented or multiple pantheons represented. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm
But yeah,
wondering if this is like some sort of thing where it's kind of like an afterlife for the afterlife kind of a thing. Like maybe it's like an afterlife of the gods. Maybe every sort of place that Kratos has laid waste to, those gods that died are there.
they're all
Gods
just
that
hanging out in there smoking
yeah,
Marlboros going,
gods
hey,
that have
bro,
fall
this
gods
is
that have
how,
fallen
this,
from
this
other
is how we roll.
civilizations, like they hang out there. That's the only thing I can think of because again, it seems like her spirit was there, so it's some sort of otherworldly thing. It doesn't seem like it's quite like a physical thing that you could just walk
Yeah.
to. So I'm wondering if that's a thing where it's like a retirement home for murdered gods.
Wow. That's literally what I was thinking, but still, wow. Yeah, because I got to tell you, so I'm assuming because we don't really know that she was also a Norse female before she died. Um, but she gets there, and the first two deity types that we see to me looked like some type of weird hybridization between um, Aztec and Egyptian.
Yeah. There was
Um,
definitely some major Egyptian vibes on
yeah,
a lot of those guys, for
and then we
sure.
see the big red boss guy that literally reminded me of Akuma, with definitely like a very much an Asian pantheon vibe there. And then we get to the two things that had no vibe in any mythology except for Dungeons and Dragons, which was the gelatinous cube and the sword that had ribbons on it, and it was the ribbons that were personified with a voice, or
And that voice,
anthropomorphized into a voice.
and that
I'll
voice
let you. I'll let you take that one
is none other than Jack Quaid.
for
And
the
not
cube.
only, huh?
For the cube,
Are they separate, the cube and the sword?
yeah, because the ribbons were a female and the cube was
Okay,
a
so
male.
then obviously yeah, it's the cube. Like,
You don't know with Jack Quaid, dude. I mean, that
so
dude could go both ways.
he is not only is he the voice though of the cube,
Yeah,
somehow he is the mocap for the cube. So I don't know
that
if they
blows my
got this.
mind.
I don't know
Quite
if they got this
literally.
guy in like some sort of like green foam square and just put the dots on it and had him like move around and punch the corners from inside the box or what. But somehow Jack Quaid
I've
is the mocap for this box.
I have just been notified by my son from a room away that the ribbons are actually sentient ribbons in Japanese technology,
Wait, so hold on. So in
Japanese
this
mythology.
okay, so
So,
this is so the sword. So we've seen some stuff that looks very much like Egyptian mythology.
yeah,
We've seen some hints that look like Aztec. So now
yeah,
this would seems to indicate Japanese mythology as well.
correct.
So she's just going to be floating through. So I assume so my guess would then be that the sort of different biomes that she will be traveling would be different mythologies then
I
like that
would
like each
think
mythology
so.
is going to be identified by a specific mythology.
I mean, I don't know how else you would do it because I like your idea of the deity retirement home option because then they can
You
play
can
with
still do
whatever
it
they want to.
and still have a different
They
biome for each one, like a
Yeah, they
like
could
a
do
prison yard.
so. The voice behind the because I didn't want her to be left out behind the ribbons is Perlina Lau, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have no clue who that is,
I'm
but
not either.
that's who the voice is. So, anywho,
Well, so now there's now I guess here's the thing. Some of the controversy. So,
Yeah, please tell me what that is because I haven't seen any of that.
well, some of the controversy is just that it's Faye and not Kratos, and so
Correct.
it's a girl, you know. As I don't care, don't care that's a girl. Here's the thing though that bugs me, and
The
we have
title.
talked about this. There are some franchises where you can change the primary character, and there are some franchises that are the primary character. Things like Gears of War had tried to change the protagonist to people outside of Marcus and Dom and that kind of thing, and it doesn't work. You know, like you can have these ancillary characters for, you know, 3 and 4 players and all that sort of stuff, but your main guys, it's got to be Marcus and Dom. You know, it doesn't
Yeah.
work if it's not them. They tried it, it didn't work. And God of War, by its namesake, is Kratos. So I don't mind having a game where we play as Faye. I don't like that it's God of War La Faye. I wish it was, as we've said, La Faye, a God of War story or something like
Yeah.
that. That lets us know that it's ancillary and outside. Like, while it's still part of the continuity, it's not Kratos. And even more than that, I really, really hope that this was not, hey guys, in lieu of a proper sequel to Ragnarok with Kratos, this is what we're doing instead. We haven't been working on that. We've been working on this. You know, that would be a problem. That would be not good for me. And we already know that they're also remastering or sorry, remaking the original God of Wars as well.
Right. Funny story. So apparently they got a lot of feedback on that. Exactly what you're talking about. And they released a statement today saying, "Don't worry, folks. There are going to be plenty of Kratos stories in the future." Now, to me, that's cryptic because that could mean anything.
Well,
Um,
when what show was it where they announced the God of War stuff with the original voice of Kratos, where he said like, "Oh hey," that's where they announced that they were
that was
remaking.
the Game Awards.
Okay, so they announced there that they were
Yeah,
remaking everything, and he also said there's some other stuff that we can't talk about. You know, so hopefully they are still working on that proper sequel to the mainline games, because, and this is another thing that I'm afraid of whenever we do something like this. While it looks cool, I don't mind that we're playing Faye, but whenever we have something like we had the Spartan game, the little side-scrolling Spartan
yeah,
game,
yeah,
do we need it? You know, it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know, the more that we have games like that, like I think the less special it kind of makes Kratos feel. Now, again, Faye always, we knew that she was magical or whatever. There's the whole thing
right.
where you know you see, like, even you saw this part of the game where the tree that they cut down had her handprint on it. You know, the tree that they cut down was one that she had touched and had her handprint on. So we know that she has these magical powers. So it makes more sense for her in this. But yeah, ultimately, I don't care that we play as Faye. I think that's great. It looked awesome. I just don't want them to have focused all of their resources on this game, meaning that now we're gonna wait 6 years until the next mainline entry.
Yeah, yeah. My vote for the title was Laufey, Kratos' dead side piece, but obviously that did not win either. I've also been informed by Alex while we've been sitting here because he's watching intently, apparently. The Egyptian goddess in the trailer was Sekhmet, which is the goddess of war in Egypt, which I actually did know that. I didn't know who she was playing, but now that he said Sekhmet, I know. The red dude is the Mongolian god of war, the
Wow,
Mongolian slash Buddhist god of
we
war.
are hitting all different sorts of mythologies here.
Well, I mean, if they're both gods of war, then it looks like she's landed herself into God of War heaven. It also would make sense because she saw Kratos there
Yeah,
for a brief second. So, which means we could get an Ares return where Laufey ends up having to fight Ares.
I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah,
But it looked great. It looked super
it did.
clean. Like the
Yes,
combat, the
that's one thing I
combat
wanted to say.
yeah, it looked wild. looked wild, super
Smooth.
fluid. So yeah,
Yeah.
super fluid. Again, the Kratos's combat is fun. Obviously, it's very frenetic and kinetic, but
Yeah.
it's very wham, wham, it's a lot of force and very pointed and these things where hers
Yeah,
was
of
very
course.
flowy and fluid and like
There was
continuous
a music.
motions.
There was
Yeah.
a rhythm and a music to her combat, and I enjoyed it, man. It didn't bug me at all. It doesn't bug me that I'm playing as her in the game if I decide to play it. And my problem with the game was the same as yours. I don't think you call it God of War when it's not a God of War, especially since the term God and Goddess are distinct when you're talking about pantheons and mythology. Um, but that doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to the
Yeah.
game either. It looks like it's going to be fun. I know Alex is going to want to play it. So, and our buddy Rob's going to play it. Obviously, he played the other two, so you know he kind of already knows where he's coming from with it. But
And I would highly recommend you play the other two as well, man. They're
yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
They're incredible.
yeah. But as soon as I get through the backlog I've got going on, and I haven't even talked
Believe
about
me, I get it.
how 007 has pulled me right back into Hitman, and let's not even talk about that. So, but yeah, that's all I had on it.
Well, you brought up 007. I guess we can go on to any
Yeah, let's go ahead and
further
segue into 007. There's shit to talk about.
yeah, any further opinions on that? And one thing, so as I haven't gotten to play a lot of it again. It's been crazy, it's been hectic. Hopefully we can slow it down to the point that I can start editing
Yeah.
videos again, but
Where are
uh
you?
let's not talk about that, Jay. It's really not far along. But but one thing that I have been able to confirm in comparison to Hitman is that the enemies that you are dealing with are far, far more observant than they are in Hitman. By
Yes.
orders of magnitude, they are
Yes.
far more observant. In Hitman, it's the really the trick to it is just learning patterns and like, okay, I want to kill this guy in this area. How do I find my way to that area? And obviously there is some of that too, although it's kind of broken down in 007 where it's like I
And
need to
it's
get
still
through.
fun.
Yeah, oh, no, yeah, it's still fun. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's not fun. I'm saying that sort of you don't have as wide open a thing there, and so the whole thing in 007 is okay. It's instead of like, how do I get to this guy that's doing here? Where is he at? It's okay. How do I get through this door? How do I do this? How do I do this? And
Right.
it opens up just like it does in Hitman. But yeah, the thing that is apparent right from the jump is yeah, the enemies here are far more observant, far smarter than Hitman enemies are. Now, granted, you have more at your disposal or not
Yeah.
necessarily more, but different things at your disposal to get through them because you can't really, just jump somebody and steal their clothes or anything quite like. I mean, there's a little bit of that here and there, but not like it is in Hitman. But yeah, so that's the big thing is that the level of difficulty, and like you had said, I believe you said it last week, where the sequence that we had seen where they played through that level at that house, like they must have really cranked that difficulty down
Yeah.
because these guys ain't pushovers. Whenever you get going, it is not Arkham Knight. Like
No.
the brawling, like you kind of have that same concept with the brawling, but these guys are good. They mean business.
Yeah, man. Some of those punches, you feel them. Yeah, like you get hit, and you're like, God dang, dude.
And you can just like if you play on normal, just normal. And
Yes.
you got to learn the thing where it's okay, yellow means I can parry, red
Yeah.
is unblockable, I got to dodge. You fuck that up 2, 3 times max, you're dead.
You're
Like,
dead.
I mean, yeah, you are a glass cannon as 007 right now. Like
Yeah.
you cannot take a
And
lot of punishment.
well, a lot of that's what you said, like we talked about with Hitman. If you have to pull your weapon out in Hitman, brother, you are 5 minutes away. You don't know it yet. Your body's trying to tell you, but you've already failed.
Yeah, you're
You've
dead
already
man
failed.
walking.
And I've already gotten the license to kill once or twice, and I ended up just reloading my checkpoint because I was like, I could have done that. I could have done that smoother. So I ended up restarting, and I'm probably already back where I was. But Um, yeah, man, I love the Jason Bourne esque hand to hand. That's what it felt like to me. It feels really, especially if you get in a good rhythm and flow where you're catching the parry and you're doing the grab and you're smashing their head into a window and then parrying the next guy and pushing him into that dude. And I like it when it says situation contained at the top of
Yes,
my screen. I'm
yeah.
like,
That is a very
nobody's coming to help.
satisfying feeling.
Nobody's coming to help you guys. You're done. I will say this, what I don't like, and I can't believe they didn't put this in here, and I really feel like it was an oversight, is not being able to drag bodies and
Yes.
put them somewhere.
I and that was one thing that I meant to bring up whenever we're talking about the
Yeah.
different features. I I can't, and it sounds like that was a choice.
Yeah.
And I can't fathom why that's a choice. You know, like
Yeah.
if you are on the other side, let's say we got like a waist high wall where, of course, henchman's going to lean back against it or
Right.
whatever, and you sneak up behind it and you do a takedown. He pulls them over it, takes them out. Boom, they're done. So they're hidden. Like, so the concept is there. Why can't we just, like, okay, maybe we didn't get him while they were there. He started walking away. We then did a takedown. Nobody saw us. Like, yeah, why can't we just grab this dude's wrist or something and just drag him over here? It doesn't make any sense. That is
So,
an annoying thing because it's like, you know, the whole thing in Hitman, the reason you had to hide these bodies is because if you didn't,
oh yeah.
even if you know nobody's walking that route, like you'd be like, I
Yeah.
watched this route for 2 hours. I know that nobody comes by here. But if you didn't store that body, it's gonna be like, oh, body found, whatever. So, you know, that's the whole thing. And like it just doesn't make any sense in James Bond for you to take somebody out, they're just laying on the floor, and it says situation contained, and you're like, but I'm at a nightclub. Like, this
Right?
situation took place in the bathroom. You know,
I'm in
people
the
are
men's room, dude.
yeah, people are gonna know, you know, like it's not a secret, right? Like the toilet's broken, the urinal's off the wall. There's a dude like
There's water shooting out
bleeding.
of
Yeah,
the hole.
yeah. This dude's bleeding out of his ears, you know, like this,
Yeah.
people are gonna notice, you know. So like you got to be able
So,
to like, yeah, I'm with you on that. It makes no sense. It is a bit of a sort of like it kind of breaks a little bit of the immersion there. To just be like, well, I'm just gonna leave these guys, laying on top of each other. I'm sure it's fine.
and I gotta say, as someone who's watched the Bond movies from Doctor No forward, which is all of them, I'm going to reference Casino Royale for the Gen Zers in the room since it's one of the more modern ones. But there was two specific scenes in Casino Royale where there was a scene where he was getting ghosted in the Miami airport towards the beginning, uh, and he ends up secretly, like stealthily stabbing the guy, just sitting him down on the bench next to, like one of these animatronic looking humans that they had on display at the museum there inside the airport. Um, and got rid of him there. The other one was when he got in the fire escape fight after one of the rounds of poker with the guys, and then um, he had his contact over there put him in the trunk of the car, and while he didn't exactly do the hiding, they were still hid, right? So um, Mathis was the guy. He had him hide him in the trunk, and then he put him in the trunk of one of Lashif's guys so that they'd get found the next day, which was great. But that's a that's a that's a big part, and I can tell you, Connery, Brosnan, Roger Moore, even George Lazenby, they hid bodies, man.
Well, anytime you're doing a secret mission where
Yeah,
bodies will drop,
yeah,
I mean, you need to and again, it's even more odd coming from the makers of Hitman. Like you're
yes.
you're in that engine. Like it's all there. Like you can just do it. Just recycle some animations. I don't know, it's so odd. It's so odd that you can't do it. Is it
And the
game
funny,
breaking? No, it's not game breaking, but it is a little immersion breaking.
I will say this too. I heard somebody bitching about not being able to like change clothes or get a disguise. You don't understand James Bond if you're saying that, because one thing about Bond, he never got in somebody else's costume, dude. He was always Brody right through the front door.
In
This
a
is who I
very well
am.
tailored suit.
Yeah, he went to Montenegro for the Casino Royale to re-reference that, and they had a front for him. They had a fake, and he literally was like, "I'm James Bond, eat me." I'm British Secret Service, bro. So, which I loved because I mean he knew those guys would have already known who he was, and so no, you don't need to do that. But dude, everything else in that game is just absolutely priceless. But and I've heard people talking, taking the political role, and I get it, I get it. I mean, you see it, and I understand. I'm not getting into it on here because to me, this is a very much a Bond story.
Oh yeah,
People can say
for
whatever
sure.
they want. If you go back and watch Doctor No and Thunderball and From Russia with Love, which were the first three movies, or excuse me, Goldfinger and From Russia with Love, um, yeah, that was a very playful Bond, and that was an experienced one. And we're talking about one that's 26. He's still a kid, man.
And I
And
I love I love the characterization of this Bond, like his bravado, his arrogance, but
yes,
it's still it's an endearing arrogance. It's not like, oh,
yes,
this guy. It's like it's endearing
you can't
somehow.
hate him. I mean,
Yeah,
he's the guy. You're like, bro, that was some hard training, and I felt like you hit me stiff in that third round. You want to go grab a beer
yeah.
instead of, man, what an asshole, bro. Why are you
And
such an asshole?
the and still and Greenway is great in what I've seen of him so far, although I
Yes.
am still so convinced that he is going to betray
I
me.
I don't think he is now. I've that has went away on me, so I
Okay.
disagree with you.
Because I'm just like because again, this guy is very good at this role. So the guy they have playing Greenway is like so many roles that he is in. He is a backstabber in those stories, and he's very good at it. And he hates James Bond.
So
But
the funny thing is, though, what I'm about to tell you is not going to make this any easier on your opinion of him. I haven't seen or felt in or reacted to anything that's any different than him going down that path. I've reached a point where I feel like he's not going to be that guy. But he hasn't shown me any indication that he's not going to be that guy. So,
it's not like
I
he all
mean,
of a
for
sudden
all we
likes
know,
James Bond.
he could be 009, who we're completely after, and so who knows? But right now, I love it. It's just tough because a lot of other shit's catching my time. But dude,
At
I
least it's
love
not
it. One thing I
September.
don't like, I will say this, man, they hit 2.2 million sales today at $150 million, which was literally the cost to make the game. So they have broken even. So everything they make going forward is fun play money. But
And oh, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No, yours is part of that. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and it's the thing that we've said before, where it's like whenever you make a live service, you have to come in with a bang, and that's where it's
Yeah,
like, okay, high guard, whatever. You have this live service. If you don't get immediate player buy-in, your game's dead because
yeah,
it's all downhill from there. Because you're never gonna, your audience is not usually not gonna grow. You're gonna have to just like keep a loyal audience for that initial rush. You have a good single player game that you're supporting, man, that thing lives on forever. People can buy that
yeah.
for 2, 3, 4 years more, and you can just keep making money with it, dude. So, like, yeah, congrats to them. I'm glad that they've already broken even. In theory, I'm sure there's some math and advertising and whatever, but I'm very glad that they're having success. I think it was like the best-selling game that they've ever done, which makes sense, given that
Yeah.
Hitman was quite niche, more niche than I had previously really thought, just because of my
Same.
fanhood of it.
I assumed everybody was playing that
Me
bitch, dude.
too.
Nobody was. And now it's going up now.
Yeah.
I saw Steam's concurrent player count on it the other day is going up. People are like, what's this formula that I've been missing my whole life? And there's going to be people that do it and then hate it. They're going to be like, yeah, this isn't for me. And that's fine because it's not
Well,
for everybody.
yeah, but it is like I said, where it's like we talked about it last week, where
Yeah.
once I saw people reacting negatively to the formula, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's unfocused" or whatever. I'm like, what are they not getting? Then I kind of remembered the first time that I played Hitman, the
Yeah.
2016, the reboot, and they did the training thing where you're on the boat. They're like, kill that guy, go. And it's like, wait, what? Wait,
Yeah.
how? What do we do? Where do I go? How do I go? Where do I go? What do I do? How
Yeah.
do I kill him? What do you want me to do? And it's that thing where it's like, well, you can do anything. You can do whatever you want. Here's a quarter. You're like, wait, what? Ow! What do I do? What do I do with this? And then
Yeah.
it's intimidating. It's intimidating to have that level of freedom, especially whenever so many games hold your hand through this stuff. So I think it's one of those things that it might be initially off-putting or uncomfortable for people just because they're not used to that level of freedom. And granted, as we've said, these guards don't fuck around. Like there's some pretty
No,
pretty
they do not.
hardcore. So, it might be a little uncomfortable, but I think if those people really give it a chance, they're going to start to appreciate that freedom and the replayability and the kind of like jazz that you can play with that thing, and the
Yes.
stuff where you start to have those moments where you start to think where it's like, okay, because they kind of like pre-map these things out. Okay, you can steal this person's ID. You can do this. You can do this to get through the door. But then there's other things. If they start to do things like they did in Hitman, where you're like, it's just let me try this and see if this works, and then that works, and then you're like, oh, and I think
Yeah.
that's whenever it really starts to click, where they're like, I can really do whatever, like it really is a sandbox. So I think if people will stick with it, that they're actually gonna like that formula. And then whenever they play Hitman, and they're gonna see like that's what the entire thing is, and they're immersed in that formula
Yeah.
and that freedom. I think they're really gonna dig it.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, and it's not like I want to say this, but in a lot of ways, Hitman is a much deeper experience because they're not pigeonholed into the Bond story of whatever story they're trying to tell. Um, but yeah, I really hope it brings in a new level because it's one of those games where, for very different reasons, that I would suggest to someone like I would suggest Mass Effect 2, right? So, uh, but for very different reasons. There's so many great missions in there that are just fantastic. Does it have its quirks? Yeah, it's exactly like we are talking about. I remember pushing a guy off a cliff in Sapienza and he landed in the ocean. And then I went back to the mansion to try to work on the daughter or whatever. And I get a message and I run back to that cliff and he had washed up on shore and people had found the body. And I'm like, son of a bitch, dude. I pushed you way out into the ocean. You should not be coming up on shore. But I just hope it does bring in hopefully a whole new group. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, and one final thing on that is I think that perhaps as we talk about it, the only thing that I can fathom as to why they don't let us hide bodies is to have it be like carve out just that much more of its own thing instead of, I
yeah,
think that if you could hide the bodies, maybe their fear is that people would lean into their pre-existing assumption that it was going to be Hitman in a
Hitman.
tuxedo,
That's a
you
good
know,
point. That's a really solid point.
and that they might have been like, we really gotta like have some sort of hard cut between the two, because if you could
Yeah,
hide bodies and bluff, well then it's just Hitman with bluffing, and or if you
yeah,
did this, but so maybe that was their thinking. Maybe their thinking was, we really gotta just stick to our cards, do a hard cut here, and just leave that behind so that people don't think it's Hitman. But in hopefully future which I don't know, it sounds like that might be up in the air. You can tell us more about this. But if they get a
yeah,
chance at a sequel to it, I would hope that maybe they allow us to hide the bodies.
yeah. And I did want to tell you this too from a tip standpoint. Uh, I don't know if you've had the guys pull guns on you yet, or if you've just been in hand to
I have
hands.
indeed.
Okay, because they are crack shots and it will be in the face almost every time. And it will be an instant game fail. But you already highlighted what I wanted to bring up next, which is Amazon doing Amazon shit. So they blew up a rocket last week, and that pissed them off so bad that they decided to let IO know that all future Bond projects would go through them. Kind of a when and if, like, we'll let you know when and if you're producing another Bond sequel. It looks like they're okay with IO doing it, obviously, because right now they're riding the high time. I noticed they put a bunch of the movies back on Prime, and they're riding that wave right now,
Yeah.
and social media is as well. But I think it's pretty shitty. Wait till they hit their 2.2 million sales, and then be like, oh yeah, just so you know, in the future, we hold the puppet strings on whether what you get to do. So
We get to give you the green
not real.
light.
Yeah, not real happy about that, man. But I mean, it is what it is. It's business. But
But and like you said, it is business, and this business is going very well right now. So hopefully,
yeah,
even though they'll have to deal with Amazon, and I'm sure they'll probably have to clear some things through Amazon and stuff like that, story beats, whatever, and there'll be some annoyance there. But hopefully, given their the success that they've already experienced, I would hope that it's all but a foregone conclusion that they get to make sequels.
yeah. And speaking of things going really well for people, Forza Horizon 6 still banging out record breaking player numbers. And I brought it up last week, which you corrected me on the pronunciation, although apparently I'm the only person in the world now that says Bowie Knife 99.
Not
I'm
in the
the only
South, you're
one.
not, because it's
I,
Jim
I need
Bowie.
your
The
help.
guy's name is Jim Bowie. He
They
had the
all
Bowie knife.
say everybody. I got a guy with a Longhorn hat on said Bowie Knife. So,
Well, they didn't grow
but
up on
I've
a
been
ranch.
saying Bowie because you're my friend. I've been
I
saying Bowie
appreciate
Knife.
your steadfastness in
Yeah,
this.
but
Jay.
I'm taking one for the team on this one because like
You're
everybody
standing up
says
for
Bowie
Jim
Knife.
Bowie himself, Jay.
Jim Bowie. So I brought it up last week and it was laughed off, but this has become a thing. This is a real thing to the point where other companies and other games are reacting to the virtual drivatar that is Bowie Knife 99. And the way he interjects himself in your races, he will take you out at horrible times. Uh, so Major League Baseball, and I'm not talking about MLB the show. I'm talking about actual Major League Baseball. Made the comment last night. These guys all thought they hit the furthest homer of the night, but then Bowie Knife 99 showed up. So that was Major League Baseball. Battlefield released a statement on Twitter yesterday, excuse me, on X. Bowie Knife 99 spotted. Permission to engage. Uh, Halo got into the mix, and they have it where Cortana's like, "What is it? More brutes?" And then they show Bowie Knife 99 up in the sky, and Master Chief says, "Worse." Kingdom Come Deliverance, Bowie Knife 99. We challenge you.
Do they say we challenge
Walmart.
you? I wish it was we challenge
Yeah.
thee.
Yeah, right. That's what it should have been. Walmart has banned Bowie Knife 99 from their stores. This is on their Walmart gaming channel. Assassin's Creed said, "Let us know if you need any help with your Bowie Knife 99 problems."
Also, breaking news: there's apparently a Walmart gaming channel.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that
Sorry,
existed.
I stealth dropped that one. So, yeah,
Yeah,
Walmart has a gaming channel in case you didn't know.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't think anybody did.
But this thing is a real thing. And I think the funny thing is who's doing the best for this is Playground Games and Turn 10 and Microsoft for this, because this is free marketing for them, man. They're not having to pay for shit. And this is a drivatar that's driving people crazy, and now you got support groups out there that as soon as they see Bowie Knife 99, they're trying to drive him off cliffs into the ocean. So yeah, it's a real deal. If you have not played Horizon, say shit.
And I think, like you said, the best thing that they can do is lean into it. In a lot of these games, there's games where, like with Drivatars or other games like that, where you can sort of like, you can exist in the game whenever you're not in the game, and you can
Right.
kind of tweak how your drivatar performs or your player character performs or whatever it is, depending on what game it is. But it'll be like aggression, rule following or breaking these little sliders. I bet like if I was them, I'd just put your hand on those sliders and just crank them up,
Oh, I'm sure they have. I'm sure that's where it's staying.
Yeah, and like we had said, offline, like last night, I just want whenever the game director, just 6 months down the line, just sitting in front of just a wall of screens, and just release Bowie Knives 1 through 98, and just
Yeah.
just like wreak havoc.
Flood it.
I want to see it. Also, I just want to point out from Google, Jim Bowie's surname is pronounced Boo-E, rhyming with Chewy. This is the traditional Southern and Texas pronunciation used for the Alamo and his famous Bowie knife. Thank you, Google.
They probably shouldn't have said Texas and Southern pronunciation, because now people will be like, yeah, that's why we say Bowie, because you guys don't say anything right down there. I guarantee that's what's going to be said. But I
Well,
have been saying buoy. I'm just
again,
saying.
I appreciate you standing up to the horde of those
Yeah.
mispronouncing it, Jay.
Uh,
It does my poor little Southern heart good.
and I'm going to cross the streams a little bit before we get into like the June 2026 game releases I was going to talk about. But in other Amazon news, they also canceled the Stargate reboot for a television series, um, which kind of pisses me off because I loved all the Stargate shows, man. I loved the movie. I loved SG1. I liked Atlantis. I even liked Stargate Universe, which pissed me off because they had 40 episodes and just hard stopped with no actual finale.
So this had already like it had already been greenlit, and then they
Yes.
canceled it. Do you know
Yes.
why?
Yeah. I have no idea. I just got it right before we came on the show. And it's the only reason I got it is because I follow Michael Shanks, who played Dr. Daniel Jackson in SG1. And he was like, call everybody, get it, and he's doing that last ditch. He goes, because if this gets canceled, it's over for good. We're not getting it back. Which,
Yeah,
of
well, I
course, is a
mean,
stupid thing to say because it'll always be brought back eventually. But
well, that's also speaking of things like that. That's also going on with Destiny 2. Gamers like that, like people that
yeah,
work there, DMG, like the community manager, is trying to like rally support. He's like, "Hey, Guardians make their own fate. Do not go quietly." All this stuff, and people are, like we'd mentioned it before, where they're planning on like jumping on the June 9th, like whenever they're releasing all this content and everything like that, and really
yeah,
like getting the numbers built up. They're really pushing hard. I don't I don't think it's
it's
gonna
not
work,
going to
man.
save it.
It's
No,
not
it's not
gonna.
going to save it. No,
And again, they've already said, so there have been a lot of pushes and pitches for other Destiny projects and sequels. None of them have been greenlit. People are being laid off. They're focusing all remaining resources to Marathon, which we know is, to put it lightly, struggling. And so they are
yeah,
putting all of their horses behind a struggling game. And just like we said with the live service games, very rarely do they pick up. Very rarely do they start slow and increase. It's usually this big rush, and then it goes down, and then you have a loyal community that you have to maintain that slowly goes down.
yeah.
And the thing, so I just don't see that. I think Marathon is the last game that Bungie will ever produce. I think we've seen
It's
the
a
end
fair
of
point.
Bungie.
Yeah, I think we either talked about that in a side convo
It
or
was
not,
last
but
night off. It was off. It was
yeah,
off air. But
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
agree with
think
you, man.
I think this is it. I don't see how Bungie gets out of this.
So the last thing I really had, man, was June's going to be a decent month, and we talk about um, the releases that are coming out, and there were three that just came to mind, and this is going to be very atypical of me. You guys know I'm not a big fan of like Nintendo IPs or what I would call childish like plotted games. It takes a lot for me. I did like Jack and Daxter. It was like I thought those were well done games. But we've got three coming out this month.
Some might describe your relationship with Nintendo as adversarial.
It is. It's very adversarial. And out of these three things that I'm going to show you, one of them is a Nintendo IP. Two of them are kind of childlike, and one of them is pretty hardcore. So I'm just going to throw this on the stage. It has no audio, but this is a game so that we could talk over it. This is a game called Killer Bean, where you literally are a bean.
A coffee bean.
And the mechanics on this game look great. The ejecting from a car while it's moving and going into full Max Payne, mode and shooting. Um,
when you told
yeah,
me about this, I don't know what I expected, but it was not this. And then whenever I did see this,
is
I
that a
was like,
good thing or?
yeah, this was
Oh,
like I said, I don't know what I was expecting. There was a game a long time ago called like I Am Bread or something like that, and you played a
yeah,
slice of bread. And I don't know what I was. But then I saw this. I was like, this looks actually pretty sick.
yeah, right.
It looks
Look at this shit
like
right
this
here.
bizarre proof of concept, like where it's got like these sick like bullet time mechanics, like Max Payne mechanics that just with this interesting sort of like Pixar like coffee bean thing. Which apparently there's a whenever I was watching this, I guess there's a guy that like he's animated this. This is like an animated
Right.
series that he's created.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if it's
Are-
just like a YouTube series or what, but I guess there's an animated series of this is based on.
So obviously, folks, this is Star Fox, one of my only favorable Nintendo IPs. Um, obviously, I love the flight sim aspect of it, but it's coming out this month. I do not have a Switch 2, so I will not be able to play this. But for all of
I'll
you
let you know
that
how it
do,
is.
make sure you guys pick up a copy of this because it looks fantastic in kind of an Ace Combat way. The HUD's very reminiscent of an Ace Combat, but this looks really good. The physics look good. The planes look good.
And see, what's funny is that a lot of people were upset by what they showed of this
Really?
because of the sort of quasi realistic looking treatment to the characters. Some people compared it to the initial trailer of Sonic the Hedgehog whenever he had like the human teeth and everything
Oh
like that
wow.
before they had to cancel it and redo it. So some people were just not stoked on the new art style. I didn't mind the new art style at all personally, but some people
Yeah.
were very upset about it.
And then lastly, in the under the more serious context, we have Hell Let Loose Vietnam. Um, if y'all remember, we had Hell Let Loose, which was a World War II. This is a standalone Vietnam game, which there's never enough Vietnam games. It was a great era, great music. Um, this is more guerrilla oriented warfare. We got the UH-1 Hueys though, and the old school M16s, door gunning from a Huey. I mean, it's all the patrol boats, um, all incredible Vietnam era stuff that we know and love. If you like that era of both movies and games, but that'll be coming out this month as well. Um, so anyway, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I've not even played the original Hell Let Loose. Have you gotten some hands on with
I
the?
did try it. Yeah.
So
So
what
it's
kind
a
of sets it apart from like the battlefields, the Call of Duties, and all that stuff?
okay. So you have, like a lot of those, you have classes, but it's all about pushing the battle front forward. So you have like bivouacs and supply points you can set up along the way that people could come back and supply to. It's also more realistic, man. You can't take you there. It's not really a health bar situation. It's a shit. I got shot in the face. I'm dead.
So you're
So
talking about pushing the front forward. So is it a thing
yeah,
where you're sort of like actively working with NPCs to like set up stuff and defend and push forward, or?
no, you're actively working with real people. That's really the only
Oh,
way to play it.
okay. So it's
Yeah.
multiplayer. It's like straight up just
Yes.
multiplayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yes.
So it's not
And
like the Call of Duty thing where you're just like one superhero that's just like blazing through and
yeah,
taking everything out and going to different scenarios and.
yeah, and it's proximity chat, so you have to be close to somebody to hear them talk. So another little layer of realism.
How
But
many how many players can there be at one time that you're playing with?
I think on console, if I'm not mistaken, on console, I think it's 32,
Oh
and
wow,
then
that's
and
more than I
then
would have expected.
oh okay, and then on PC, I think they have 100 v 100.
God.
So yeah.
See,
So
I'd
anyway,
heard the name Hell Let Loose. I was
yeah,
aware of it, but I'd never played it.
yeah, the game is legit, man. But and I obviously I don't get to play it. I don't have enough friends that play it, and haven't even really brought it up. But Vietnam is, I kind of love that era of combat and weapons, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes when it
I know
does
our friend
release.
Bear Adventures on his channel. He has Hell Let Loose on his rotation. He plays Hell
Yes.
Let Loose and No Man's Sky and also Rainbow Six Siege. He's kind of been rotating around through those.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't even. I had to uninstall No Man's Sky. I was afraid after talking with Bear quite a bit that I would start playing it, and I have no. I'm not doing it. No, so I uninstalled it. But anyway, man, that's all I got.
Well, yeah, I don't think I've got much more because obviously the state of play was the big thing. We've got the Summer Games Fest coming up tomorrow. We'll see what gets announced there. I don't have any predictions other than I bet we see Kojima. It's
Yeah.
got to be. Will it be anything big? Probably not. I don't think Kojima will announce anything, but I'm sure he'll have something. Like a new trailer or something.
I think we'll get a Star Wars Zero Company trailer tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to possibly that happening, which, folks, if you don't know, it's like an XCOM Star Wars game where you kind of have a hodgepodge group of characters on your team or squad and play an XCOM style game
We
inside of
don't have
Star
enough
Wars.
of
So that
those.
no, we don't. Not
I
even
love
remotely.
XCOM. I,
Yeah,
I
I do
like.
too.
I don't think that we're getting an XCOM 3 anytime soon. It sounds like it's just not in the cards,
Yeah.
but it didn't sell well enough. But I don't know. Maybe if we get something like Star Wars, maybe it can get enough people that like that kind of
Yeah.
style. So then XCOM, like the people behind XCOM can actually be like, oh well, let's make another one. I don't because I love those style of games. Like
I wish we got another Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Although a lot of
yeah,
people forget those games actually came from the X-Men Legends games.
yeah, and
So
we did get Ultimate Alliance 3 that was an exclusive to Nintendo, but
I
it
heard
was
about.
not.
Was
It
it not
didn't.
good?
No, it wasn't the same, man. I don't even know. I don't know
Yeah.
if it was made by the same people. Something was off. Something was different. Something just it didn't feel the same. It was exclusive to the Switch as well, so like they had to work within the confines of the Switch,
Right.
to do it. Just it wasn't good. So yeah, 1 and 2 though were all of Ultimate Alliance were
Yeah.
absolutely still. We need another proper Ultimate Alliance game. It was so good, and we get so many characters, and then so many costumes for each of those
Yes. Oh
characters.
my god.
Yeah, it was a nerd's dream, dude. Like it's
And
and
the
it's so many.
synergies when you
Yeah,
create the teams.
so many
And
Easter eggs, and like in the
yeah.
and the way that they would talk to one another. If you got certain characters in the same team, just the
Yeah.
things that they would say to one another, but they would only say if that person was. Dude, there's so many Easter eggs. Like it was clearly made by just ultimate comic book nerds. It
Yeah.
was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, my favorite person to take in the first one was taking Sue Storm to see Namor because apparently they had a thing. And if you also take Reed Richards, it can get ugly, dude. It's like some Jersey Shore shit or Real Housewives deal. Pretty funny stuff. But anyway, yeah, definitely need those games. But man, that's all I got, bro.
Yeah, I don't have much either as far as but as far as entertainment or anything goes. We talked about
Yeah.
Obsession. That's still killing it. Apparently Obsession has now crossed over $100 million in the domestic box office. Domestic box office. And again, that was made for $750,000.
Yeah.
And so that's been doing great. I'm gonna watch Backrooms with my son on Saturday, so we'll be seeing that. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. It's another one made, some guy that made content for YouTube and stuff like that, and it's a continuation of stuff there. So I'm excited to see these people that are making stuff on smaller budgets. We had Markiplier with Iron Lung. Then we had the guys from That's a Bad Idea, Curry Baker making Obsession. We got Kane Pixels, or his real name Kane Parsons, making backroom stuff, and these guys are killing it. I'm really excited to see this sort of like shakeup of Hollywood with sort of like guerrilla filmmaking, where they're like, we don't need. It's kind of because it's one of those things where so many times you hear the budget for a movie, and you watch the movie, and you're like, how? How? Where did that money go? Like it's
Yeah.
how did you spend that much money on this? Like how did this cost that much?
I
And
never will forget Chris Rock hosting the MTV Movie Awards. And he was walking across the stage doing his monologue at the beginning. He's like, "So Blair Witch Project is nominated for Best Picture. Cost $60,000 to make. Somebody's walking around $59,000 in their pocket."
yeah. But it's
That's what
like,
I always think of when I see that.
but it's so true though with some of the stuff where it's like, you see
Yeah.
what they can do with so little, and it's
Yeah.
like, why are we? How's all this going? Where it seems like there's a lot of just like unnecessary bloat. Like so much of this is like a money laundering scheme at this point. You know?
Well, we've got this magnum 10 Commandments opus of a movie coming out here later this year with the Odyssey, and the hype train they're running on that thing is, I mean, you can't scroll one reel without seeing Matt Damon talking about the Odyssey. How it's the hardest film he's ever filmed, and how every day was a challenge, and blah 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 blah. And now they got a new like panel with him and Tom
Oh,
Holland
Holland,
and
dude. If I
Robert
was if
Pattinson,
regardless of my thoughts on what the movie is or isn't going to be, or how it is or isn't
yeah,
going to do, if I was if I was Christopher Nolan, I wouldn't put Tom Holland on anything.
right,
That- or if Tom Holland was in my movie and I was going to have him do promotion for my movie, I would be like, I would have him do his scenes and then sit in his trailer with the windows blacked out. Like, that guy doesn't get to know anything about this movie because he
yeah,
is terrible. He is terrible at keeping secrets.
yeah. So, but yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the Odyssey. I love that story anyway, but we'll see how that goes. Even though we've recently had a movie about the Odyssey with what's his name, Ray Fine, Voldemort played him coming back
Oh
home,
yeah, yeah. He
and
was in crazy shape too,
yeah, he
especially
was
for
in
his age.
ridiculous shape, and they actually followed the actual Homer story very very well, very tight,
Yeah, this is
with the
obviously going to
son and
be
the.
one that is diverging a bit from that one.
I'm not going to
Clearly,
say this is going to be Batman '89, but this is going to be pretty fucking close.
yeah.
So nothing's worse if you're a big mythology fan. Nothing's worse than the original Clash of the Titans. It's the most mythologically inaccurate movie of all time, with the way they just kind of hodgepodge shit together.
Well, then
But
there was
still, I'm
something
looking.
within the last man, it feels like within the last 15 to 20 years, maybe not even that far. Maybe not even that. Maybe the last
Okay,
10. Where they had, I don't remember what it was. It was called like the Titans. It wasn't like Clash of the Titans, but it was clearly meant to invoke Clash of the Titans.
The
But it had
Immortals
maybe the Immortal
with
Titans or
Henry
something like.
Cavill.
I don't. Did it have like an outer space component
No,
to the Titan lore? So there was something where there was like an outer space component to the Titan lore where they were trying to like it bombed. It died at the box office. Surprise, surprise.
I've never
Uh
even heard of this. Whatever this is.
they oh my god. Let me see if I can figure out Clash of the Titans remake. Uh
Well, I watched those with Sam
oh, there it is.
Worthington and
2010. It was 2010.
what was it
Clash of the
called?
Titans. Clash of the Titans. So
That
it
was
was,
that
and
was
it
Sam
had
Worthington. Those were good.
Sam Worthington. Yeah. So maybe that wasn't it then. What was the other one then? What was the so if it wasn't Clash of the Titans?
Well, there was the Immortals with Mickey Rourke, where they told the story of Theseus and not Perseus. But it was Henry Cavill, Mickey Rourke. There were some other people in that one. It was good,
Well, okay, I can't
but there
find it.
was
But there
no
was one.
space
I don't remember
component
what
to that one.
I remember seeing. It was like I remember seeing an advertisement for it. I think the advertisement was even like on the Super Bowl one year, and then it whatever it was, it went out and bombed. But
Man, I really want to find out what this is.
yeah, I'll have to look for it. It might have just been called like Titans. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I put that in. It wants to show me Remember the Titans. But
Yeah,
anyway,
of course.
we'll see.
Or
But yeah,
Attack on Titan or Titan
yeah.
AE.
Hey man, I actually like Titan AE.
Also Matt Damon, but
Yeah.
yes, I love Titan AE.
I thought that one was really great.
That was a good movie.
I know we keep trying to like be like we're done. But Titan AE was
We're
also
not done.
one of the last like hand animated movies, that I can remember them producing.
Yeah.
Period. Like there was like I think The Princess and the Frog was the last hand animated Disney film that
Okay.
they did. Because then it went all CGI. It's all computer animated stuff. It's all
Yeah.
3D rendering and
Well,
all
once
this
Pixar
stuff.
lit up, Pixar kind of took over.
Yeah.
I still season 1 of South Park was hand animated.
Not only that, they did it with paper. It was like photographed
Yes.
stop motion. It wasn't even
Yeah.
it wasn't even drawn. It was like it was made with
I
construction
loved your
paper.
visual effect right there you just did.
Yeah,
And I
man.
could totally tell you were talking about when the heads were talking and they would
Yeah.
just that was great.
It's wild, but anyways, yeah. So I remember Titan AE, and it was one of the last things that and like Treasure Planet were some of the last like hand
Yes.
animated movies that I can remember seeing.
There's a
But
lot of old like sci-fi and fantasy out there, not necessarily animated, that you forget about, man. It's insane. So
I hope we get that. Would be nice to see some of that stuff kind of come back. I'd love to see another like
yeah,
hand animated film. I think there'd be a market for it, and now it'd be like new and different. Yeah.
there was a Disney movie that was sci-fi about a ship, Black something. I can't remember it right now, but I love that movie. It's gonna drive me crazy, but it was a
What was the
Disney.
what was the premise?
Oh, there was a ship and there was a black hole. It was Black Hole. Holy shit! It was Black Hole. That's what it was called.
I don't guess
Fantastic movie.
I'm not familiar with it.
There was
When did it come out?
the villain. Oh, dude, this would have been 82.
Oh, okay. That's why. That's why
83.
I'm not familiar.
The villain's name was Maximilian. You really can't do any better than Maximilian as your enemy name. But Black Hole, that was it. Loved that movie.
I'll have to look that up. I've literally never heard of this, so
Oh,
I'll
that
have
movie
to
is
find it.
fantastic, bro.
I wonder if it's on
So,
Disney Plus.
I don't know if that's a good call though.
'Cause,
Also,
I mean,
love Last Starfighter. Last Starfighter in 80, I think it was 86, probably 84, 86, but that was a good one. Fantastic movie. Guys playing arcade in a RV camp, and he gets top score on the arcade machine, and an alien lands in a ship and goes, "Hey, we put that game here as a test. Now you need to come save the galaxy." And he's like, "Yay!" So, also a great movie.
all right. Well, we will we'll end this. It's like a Southern Baptist church service where it's like in closing, in closing, in
Now for the
closing.
benediction.
But all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Thanks for sticking with us as Jay and I have been swamped and inundated and like coming and watching and being patient. We appreciate it. And I
Yeah.
don't know, Jay, any other thoughts before we roll credits?
No, looking forward to Game Fest tomorrow, and looking forward to linking up with you and kind of getting your take on it after we've both seen it, and then also just hearing your feedback on 007 as you push through it. I'm so scared to death I'm going to end up getting on Hitman this weekend
And then
because
you'll
of
never get out.
007, and I won't get out because I still haven't done any of those. I didn't even know about sniper mode, so apparently I've got to try that, and I didn't know about freelancer mode, so I've got to try that. So anyway, that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, I don't have anything. Thank you guys. And yeah, we will see you next week, if not sooner. So talk to you later.
Cheers.
I must bid you adieu. Goodbye.